Baby, I'm sorry. On a street in Chicago before dawn, Lena stood behind the hospital, holding her newborn son in her arms. The child's father had just died. She had been evicted because of rent. Her bank account had been frozen. The last $20 she had were spent on half a can of baby formula. It wasn't that she didn't want this child. She truly couldn't keep him alive. She placed the baby on a bench beside the hospital and took off her scarf to cover him. Mommy isn't abandoning you. Mommy just wants you to live. But after walking only a few dozen steps, she regretted it. She ran back like she had gone mad. The next second, a black Bentley suddenly stopped. The door opened, and a woman in a coat rushed out. She was almost scared out of her mind. There was actually a baby lying on the bench. The woman's name was Victoria. She was a famous real estate queen in Chicago. When she was young, she had lost a child. Since then, she had never become a mother again. But the moment she picked up the baby, the child suddenly grabbed her finger. At that moment, her tears fell instantly. Who could be so cruel to leave you here? What they threw away wasn't a burden. It was a treasure. Lena hid at the entrance of the alley, watching Victoria carry the baby into the car. She wanted to rush out, but she saw the woman urgently telling the driver to go to the hospital. Her voice, Lena's feet felt nailed to the ground. She knew that what she couldn't give her child, this woman could. From that day on, she lost her son, and that child was named Ethan by Victoria. She gave him the best room, the best doctors, the best schools, and treated him as her only heir. 15 years later, Ethan had grown up. On the first day of school, he stood at the gate of the mansion in a dark blue suit. He smiled and asked Victoria, "Mom, do I look like a real boss today?" Victoria straightened his tie. "You don't need to look like one. You already are." That same day, a woman came to Victoria's house to apply for a job as a maid. She wore an old coat, but she looked neat and clean. "Madam, my name is Lena. I can cook, clean, and take care of the young master." Victoria wanted to refuse at first, but seeing her begging so humbly, she let her stay. But she warned her, "You are only a maid. Don't get too close to my son." Lena nodded with red eyes. No one knew that for the past 15 years, she had been searching for the child she had left behind the hospital. She had checked the hospital, asked nurses, and waited on that street countless times, until she heard that a wealthy woman had taken a baby boy from there that year. Only then did she finally find this place. That evening, Ethan came home. Victoria introduced the new maid to him. Ethan only glanced at Lena once, and he froze. The way this woman looked at him didn't look like a maid looking at a young master. It looked more like a mother looking at a child she had finally found again. Lena said, "Young master, dinner is ready." When Ethan heard her voice, his heart suddenly trembled. They had clearly just met for the first time, but why did this voice make him feel so safe? Later, Lena brought hot soup into the study. Without raising his head, Ethan said, "Put it over there." Lena looked at the way he was seriously writing, and her eyes turned red. She couldn't help saying, "You work so hard. You will definitely become someone great in the future." Ethan looked up at her. "Why are you so sure?" Lena quickly lowered her head. "I'm sorry, young master. I spoke too much." Ethan stared at her for a long time. That voice, those eyes, and the old scarf around her wrist all seemed to be telling him one thing. His secret was not inside this mansion. It was on that street from 15 years ago, the street that had almost taken him away. Would he finally discover the truth?